what Jesus is teaching: storing, seeking, and serving. Now, Jesus, in this part of the Bible, in Matthew, we've got lots of the teaching of Jesus all put for us in one place, which is quite handy. And Jesus here is speaking about treasures in heaven. And he's making two statements which will back each other up. He says in verse 19, "Do not store up for yourselves treasure on earth. Do store up for yourselves treasure in heaven." And the thing that Jesus is saying that we shouldn't be storing is the things that can get eaten by moths. Don't get many moths in this country, not with our weather anyway. But things that can fade and disappear, those things which often a lot of people invest a lot of time and money. There's rusting. Well, there's a lot of things rust, mainly metal though, isn't it? So if the focus of your life is on stuff that can rot and rust and that can be stolen, if that is the point, the focus of your life, Jesus says, then you're not storing up the right stuff. If we're only concerned about worldly things, and that is the focus of what we can get, then we're losing the point of what it's all about. Because Jesus is saying, actually, the place where you need to be storing up your treasure is in heaven. Well, how do we store up treasure in heaven? How do you store up something where you can't go or see? Well, there's a spiritual principle that Jesus is talking about here. So if you are focused on Jesus Christ, if you are focused on what He wants and upon His character, i.e. not living for yourself, not living for what you can get, how much stuff you can accrue, because many people seem to think that he who dies with the most stuff wins, which is not the principle of heaven at all. And it's through living for others and seeking to help others and use our lives for the focus of helping others that we store up treasure in heaven. And I believe that Jesus is speaking about a literal truth here. Don't fully understand it, to be quite honest with you, but we will literally have a reward in heaven. We continue to trust in Jesus and not live for ourselves and what we can get, how big our car is, or how much electronics we can stuff in our home, or how flashy our whatever is. If we're focused on Jesus Christ and putting Him first, then we are storing up treasure in heaven. And this goes completely against our culture, doesn't it? Well, I think so. It goes completely against our culture, which is a consumeristic and materialistic culture, where people are judged on what they look like, what clothes they wear, what car they drive, where they live, what kind of house they got, how big their television is, how fast their computer runs, and so on and so forth. That's a worldly standard, isn't it? That's not what God looks at. The Bible says that God looks on the heart. He looks at what people are like on the inside, what their motives are. So that's what storing is about. We're to store up things in heaven. Our treasure is in heaven. Now what the challenge is on this part is, what is your treasure? What do you treasure? Well, let me put it another way. What is it that gets you up out of bed in the morning? Apart from a cup of tea.